Dom Pascal, Chief Wallace Boden's replacement in Chicago Fire Season 13, immediately rubs Firehouse 51 the wrong way, and there's a good reason for that. Eamon Walker left the franchise in the Chicago Fire Season 12 finale. By then, Firehouse 51 had already lost several key members of the team, such as Blake Gallo and Sylvie Brett. That said, considering the impact that Boden has had in the show, his exit was Chicago Fire's biggest loss. Luckily for the character, however, he was given a happy send-off, as Boden left Firehouse 51 for a much bigger role in the CFD. For what it's worth, anyone who would replace Chief Boden in Firehouse 51 would have a difficult time following his legacy. Not only was he a principled and effective leader, but he was also beloved by Kelly Severide and the whole team. So, even if his plan of setting Christopher Herman up as his successor, the Engine 81 lieutenant would still struggle. Given this, it would be an understatement to say that Dermot Mulrooney's Dom Pascal has his work cut out for him. Unfortunately, it doesn't help that he seems to intentionally rile up the squad with his demeanor. Pascal creates new issues for Firehouse 51 in Chicago Fire Season 13. Dom Pascal is unlikable from the get-go. The Chicago Fire Season 13 premiere, Monster in the Field, was focused on establishing Pascal as Firehouse 51's new leader. Not much has been revealed about him, but the outing shares pertinent information about the new character, not to mention planting plot seeds for his intriguing past. As it turns out, Pascal started his firefighting career in Chicago but spent the last several years in Miami. He moved back to the Windy City to deal with his marital issues. Regardless of his personal life, however, it's clear that he is no Chief Boden. Despite the team trying to accept him as their new leader, Pascal seems adamant about making waves from the get-go. His initial conversation with Herman is laced with unnecessary innuendo. Pascal continues his shift by introducing a cell phone ban rule during the team's meal, explaining that it will allow them to bond, even though they have been together for years. He also forces his lieutenants to orally deliver their report. That's all on top of warning Severide about working with his wife, Stella Kidd. Chicago Fire needs to create conflict for Pascal because of Boden's new position. Boden has Firehouse 51 protected. Suffice it to say, Pascal is subtly being antagonistic in Chicago Fire Season 13 for no reason. Granted that he wants to distinguish himself from Chief Boden, but he could have done this more nicely. Doing that would have made his job a lot easier. That said, while Pascal himself has no reason to act this way, his atrocious behavior can be linked to the way Chicago Fire Season 13 needs to craft its stories and Boden's new role. With Boden winning the election and becoming the new deputy commissioner, he significantly expanded his reach in the CFD. Although he was already a prominent figure in the organization before, this time, he actually has the power to make broad changes. Since Firehouse 51 is famous for having a special place in his heart, Severide and the rest are somewhat protected from any kind of political attacks because everyone knows that Boden has their back. This has been one of the biggest recurring storylines in Chicago Fire, which they now can't do because of the show's current situation. Taking this into consideration, the writers now have to create a new source of drama. Since they can't rely on external conflict to deliver that, and any kind of infighting involving established members of the group is not only a tired trope but also flimsy, since they will inevitably patch things up anyway, they look at Pascal to bring that in. As great as it sounds to think that Boden's replacement will come in and be immediately loved, it's detrimental to Chicago Fire's storytelling because it thrives on drama. Will Firehouse 51 and Pascal ever get along in Chicago Fire? It all depends on how long Mulrooney is going to be in One Chicago. Whether Pascal and Firehouse 51 will get along all depends on the writer's long-term plan for Mulrooney. It is uncertain what kind of contract he signed on to be in Dick Wolf's One Chicago franchise. If he's really going to be Boden's permanent replacement, then it's safe to say that it's only a matter of time before he and the team see eye to eye. If not, however, Pascal's stint in Chicago Fire will end sooner rather than later. Perhaps, that's the narrative opening they want to finally prop up Herman to be the house's new battalion chief.